He's a heavy metal icon with a history of drug abuse. On stage, they call him the Prince of Darkness. But offstage, a tumble with a piece of real heavy metal almost sent Ozzy Osbourne to meet his maker. Ozzy's near-death experience also made him number 7 on our list.
He scared the living pants off me, you know.
By 2003, the former Black Sabbath frontman was one of rock and roll's beloved elder statesmen.
Ozzy, Ozzy, Ozzy.
More specifically, Ozzy was best known as the doddering daddy on the Osbournes.
All of a sudden, the TV on the Osbournes took off, and it's just like been an incredible year for us all.
It was December 8th, 2003. Ozzy and the gang were hanging out on his 100-acre estate in the English countryside.
While filming the 3rd season of The Osbournes, Ozzy travelled back to his estate in Britain, where the producers thought that it would spice things up a little bit to have him riding around on an ATV.
ATVs are kind of tricky vehicles because their center of gravity is so high, and so it's very easy for him to roll over.
As the cameras rolled, Ozzy hit a bump and bounced forward over the handlebars of the vehicle.
It could sound like a regular vehicle accident, but this was 600 pounds of metal that was now on top of him.
His bodyguard, Sam, was right behind Ozzy when he crashed.
Sam, who had witnessed the whole accident, ran to Ozzy, who was flipped over and twisted, laying there unconscious. He checked for a heartbeat, he checked for a pulse, couldn't find either, and had administered CPR. Only for Ozzy to then lose all vital signs again, so he administered it once more. This was only to get him into a good enough state to even go to the hospital. Essentially, Ozzy had died twice right there on the spot.
I've been the luckiest guy, and I've been dead twice.
The camera crew radioed for help.
When we're transporting a patient whose vital signs keep deteriorating on us, that's a really bad sign for us, and there's a real significant chance for them not to make it.
After a 10-mile trip to the Wexham Park Hospital, doctors were confronted with a host of life-threatening injuries.
He had a fractured left collarbone. He had, with some damage to the blood vessel that lies underneath it. He had 8 fractured ribs on the left side.
As if all of his injuries weren't enough, some of the broken bones also cut into one of the arteries in Ozzy's arm, giving doctors that much more to work on to save his life.
Surgeons spent 3 hours just repairing the artery. They replaced Ozzy's shattered collarbone with a steel rod. Then there was the medically induced coma.
We take a medication and essentially give the patient an overdose while they have a breathing tube in, and we can support their own breathing. But we shut down all of their body processes, and that actually helps us to decrease some of the swelling in the brain.
Sharon and the kids remained by Ozzy's bedside until he came to. Ozzy stayed in the intensive care unit until Christmas Eve. 16 days after the accident, Ozzy discharged himself from the hospital. He returned to his Buckinghamshire home to recover.
That was a kind of turning point in my life when I thought, if you want to be around a bit any longer, you got to start taking care of yourself. Since then, I've got to quit smoking, drinking, drugging, all that.
Coming up, he had a harrowing head-on collision. He missed his plane and saved his life. Plus,
That's what I thought at the other night.